My name is Shalyn Pigeon, and I'm from Ashcroft Indian Band in the Nlaka'pam Nation in the interior of British Columbia. This week at Preparing Our Home was an amazing experience to meet other youth from around Canada and get to talk about our experiences with emergency management, our challenges, our successes, our best practices, and really have a good week to get to learn from each other and just talk about our experiences with people who know what we've went through. This week really showed me that there are youth in our communities that have very powerful voices and are eager to learn and just insert themselves into emergency management to help keep our communities safe and protect our people. One thing I've learned this week is how grounded the youth are in the culture and traditions and how important that is to insert that into the emergency management world. Paddle carving to me was an amazing experience. Being from the interior British Columbia, we aren't coastal people. We don't do a lot of cultural teachings around water. So doing the paddle carving was a really amazing experience for me to be able to learn about another culture and another tradition. And it taught me a lot of patience, and I felt really determined to get my paddle finished. And today, finishing it, I'm feeling very grounded and very happy and so blessed to be able to be part of this experience. In 2017, Ashcroft Indian Band was hit with the Elephant Hill wildfire, which devastated our small community. We learned a lot of hard lessons that year for emergency management, such as how important it is to have a current and updated emergency management plan that is community-based and community-driven. We also learned a lot of valuable experiences, such as how to open an EOC. I was the EOC finance manager for the fire, which was a really difficult lesson to learn, which came with a lot of challenges. A lot of those challenges revolved around the government not really understanding what being on a reserve meant and what our authorities were and what it was like to truly be on a reserve. A lot of the emergency management structure is very colonial and urban focused, so a lot of our challenges and learnings were trying to figure out how to work in a system that wasn't meant to be for our people or for rural areas. So that was a lot of challenging times. When our community transitioned from response to recovery, I took on the role as a co-recovery manager for Ashcroft. This had a lot of challenges with it, such as response did, just for the systems that we had to navigate and all of the red tape and bureaucracy that we had to deal with. The finance section of this was extremely important, but also extremely difficult to navigate, especially with someone with no experience in this world. I learned a lot of valuable lessons as to how to prepare our community for this type of event, such as taking pictures of all our assets, even things you wouldn't think that you'd need to take pictures of, such as your sheds, your garden, your garbage cans, because when these are taken away from you in things such as a fire and you are going to have to prove that they existed pre-fire, it's great to have proof that they were actually there, so it makes that process a lot easier in the end. So after the 2017 wildfire, we lost 12 out of our 32 homes in our community. And the recovery was a long process. It took us 2 years to rebuild all of the homes that we lost. And during this time, all of our community members that were evacuated remained in evacuation and in hotels. A big part of emergency management that is missing currently still is the mental health side of emergencies. And dealing with the recovery of our community, I realize how important the mental health and traditional wellness aspect of emergency management truly is. The people side of recovery is the most important side, and it's often the side that doesn't get the acknowledgement that it deserves. It doesn't get the resources and support that it needs. Throughout our recovery, we were lucky enough to get a resiliency manager for our community who was brought in to really help with the mental health side of the recovery. So the way our community chose to do our healing was through community events and activities that really brought the community together. And a lot of this was rooted in our culture and traditions, such as ribbon skirt making, canning, gutting salmon and smoking salmon. Over the 2 years when our community members were evacuated, we tried to do events once a week to bring the community together as a whole. And this was how they wanted to heal, and this is how they did heal, was through doing these community events. They were able to talk to each other and listen and have a safe space where they could truly heal in a way that was best for them. Our whole response and recovery was truly a community-driven process, and throughout this process we truly did learn things that just don't work for Indigenous communities, and we weren't afraid to voice these opinions to the people who needed to make change. I'm happy to say that through a lot of our hard work through 2017 and 2018 and beyond, a lot of policies have been able to be changed or rethought of that will affect Indigenous communities going forward in a more positive way. The things Ashcroft Indian Band experienced, we didn't want anyone else to ever experience again, and so being part of that change is really important to me. Being the voice for Indigenous communities is extremely important to me, and it's where I found my true passion.